Abzianfo no nsia etoso mienu enememene November bosomi de etoso aduasa enaboi bebia wo bia na yamo adwo mo akwaba ebraso so mamuni amawdo biso nsamo a yakekese ene anwumre yeba na yede eba besom so woka wonsa kono sananu munsia aka na woche pepepepepe ene na woche sabre na yese yato awia wo mo ahyase a wono mo ebobo emunsamo a eja ebo patabrebre se paso che ne yakekese ene a anwumre bebia wo bia na yeba na yede aba besom wo ensam na poso eni sie no mo kase mampani da John Dramani mama asena probase ewo asantemantema ya yene mo kase adwira secheduma se abaton pesua so ena onenamo yebeko nom yakwa esene na probo esi eko na sese ne sa sojafo ebe boama bamba onsensam SCP enena watwe abato a ye kwa akoto no ho no enam so ma kesa akwa katakasa bebre ebi chese mema sojafo ne mam ebi so chese ya ma sojafo ne mram na nkoma mpanimfo bi no edi no ye bewram na ye di nkomo pa Ghana Health Service mpanimfo a wo mhwa apom de ne ho nsensam so de atodwa se shepete yade cholera na esore ye no enedie wo ebesoso so amanfo num nkwada num se be yo na yade no ye betimi etu ase kra na ye dine so enkunim abzanfo weni afofro pi ene akekese ene se kase abia wo bia no nwumre ye ba na ye de ababesom 21st clinic ya siatika yade omu tuturase omabubu na pradama ene nwumre bia wo bia no ye ba ni ababesom wo se yade no se didi ne padua no se de kra no a for ne ekire 21st clinic ne ya doctor for ni no papa ya woni yemfantu ase emfa emau 3A Herbal Center ere 3 eco capsules abedwa so a koko no etise de kra no a wonya bi no anonom a ebetutu koko na se ede amount mizo ne 5G ne yeguso a ye bobo mo amoko wedding nom ene ade amoko no nom bi weekend majatum se eye drink ya ede pa express group for so adama omo ede etukwan hare so opese wo kwa bruchire ko ye adwuma opese wo kwa bruchire ko sua de na wo kra de adisua na wo kwa ko sua no sa pe scholarship nom ene ade atato a abusua fo ni kire express group efiri se ye your passport ede akwa kusi se de okotena play mum amu otufa akwa kodu ba bi a wo kɔ no ni nyina hye express group nsa ye be ni nyina kama ede amam Sompa chade mfie biensa nie na Sompa FM ne Sompa TV ye ba manaso na abusuafo ye bedwa to amo ne ye sremu a se eya ne ya dwene nyanka awisia kunafo ya dwene de obekata omadegya so de obedidi amu bi adie nyanka no ombenom die ombedi die no mo ahye die enu ntina afi bia bemfie miensa nie ye bom na so besremu se de obenya bia emu anwa nkwada ntade nkwada mpaboa ntoma bibi bia obenya bia no fa beka ye ho na ye mfa nkoma nyanka no na omususu na fina kwawe ya ye nyina ye sre no omususu matimi asre bi ebia meken odie sika na opesa wo ye odie no a obetimi e de afa mobile money number yi so 0598 559802 0598559802 edi ebeba tara one media na se Blessed Foster abuzu enyumeko wenum na etamechi enyumre ya bebia wo bia ne yetimi abane aba besom medi no ensesan na ya abo amale bia boga yenye brena finsem no yenkomo ankasa emfa emamo yedemo hyase de afi electoral commission impedimfo atena ye na sane ye manimusam se enena awotwe na Ghana fo ye boboy ho ne yakwa akoto aba akwa ye mampeni ene mrasebe gyafo a won betena mrasebe gyafie ma ye ni nonu amomma yafo ne na dege dom papa bi ede efra abato na ye kwa akoto electoral commission impedimfo ede atugya se ne nim tetenu a se ye koto aba ni wia ene bia woto aba ne ye hwie ye dwesemaguo na yakan 1 2 3 4 5 ya kekesi ani no sabe bepe no mo beye no enti so mo te so bi ti ba bi ka electoral commission mpanimfo ne amanyoko bi na ekọ nakra na enti electoral commission mpanimfo na bo mu tirim po se kwan bia so aba no mbawie mu a na mo dwene ho a wono mo enti ase Dr. Bosman Asare a oye penimpa be de ekira o hye ya abato komisa dwumadie so na ode sansem tu gamra na ensemtwefo ene ne di nkomo na enkomo na akwa kikira esi ya wo Puemantam Eastern Region, and ran Electoral Commission Day, among Krata Kwagugu Post Station. Now, Posifona SSA at Wapiti Eastern Region, yes, credo no modia toto, a young crat anymore, a do baby be at the Ayera, Niani Diabu Bune Bubunum near the idea, a conforming Timwase by MPP and this for Intemono, and what you say about it, dear, Yamian Nebunzametiko Pulling Station, wow, Yaken Kanwa, or Moni and Yaden, when Yanawa, hey, baby, and one more, you bet Massa Samman, you can't be, yes, it's a good cratem, Yadin Susan, so the Bromo and Kraya, and one or mobile Bonefufrobia, Dr. Bosman Asare.
I believe the Koforidua incident is the transportation of the ballots from Koforidua to the Mpraiso constituency. And for each bag containing the ballots, you can have as many as 7 seals, depending on the number of political parties that have put their seals. And in this instance, about 2 of the bags, they had their seals broken, but others were still intact. And we have our team in place. They checked, they did all the checks, and they realized that nothing had been tampered with. And we saw it, and we were like, this is not something we should even create any news attention. But we also concede that the nature of our adversarial democracy, our competitive democracy, is such that if you are not very careful. And the most important point is that all these ballots, before we even send them to the polling station, the agents of the parties are aware, the party executives are aware, they know what is going to polling station A, what is going to polling station B. So when these things happen, we should just take our time and let's look at the processes for resolving them. And I was happy the police later on issued a statement that everything had been resolved, and per what our regional director also told us, there is no cause for alarm. So we are confident going into the elections, and we are expecting Ghanaians, there are over 18,774,000 registered voters, to go out there in their numbers on December 7th. In 2020, we had a turnout of a little over 79%, and we are hopeful that they will go out there in their numbers so that maybe we can even do more than 80%.
We a penny pabe de share about to one some so about to come and ye and yetene Dr. Bosman Asare and ana ochechi nsemu ede achire no ye to aso yegusu a edemu abatu ya ho momonitu ya se aka na woche pepepe ye kwa akoto abedie yentime emfa kase mremu wabra abatu ho nsem enye mpateku ene nsrepe ewe ye kase mu na abatu a ye bobo en wakwa akoto no ene na wochie ya ena sesi akwako ye nchi no wahyew ebi che se ye ma sojafo no kwan na omumebo omu nuanom aposifo ene prison service ne fire service fo no bambum ebiso chese we nya asojafo adwuma aposifo no a ene omunuanum prison service ne fire service fo no betima ya faso bia ne so se ebe ya dwene se ye de asojafo ebam amomo ababebo bambum na eno nenam so ma Dr. Kojo Pumpuni Asante oko CDD a wono ene ye director of policy wo hono e de atugasade ba ko a ya na odwene ho a wonte ase eye se ye bobo e ho na yakwa akoto aba ye to aba no ne ye kinkan chese bibie bese bia no ase ya ne ye pepre ye ho e de ho so bo ene ntansa e kwa akobo bambo empanimfo no wo se eno yade a ya na odwene ho a wonte ase e ba ne sa no wo so mamu ni nyina e na ye gi bosso oje kenten so ye hwe adekra enam so me bi abasabasa bi sorry ye basabasa bi si ye anasa mentimo ase bi esi ye wo ba bi a ebia ema posifo anasa sojafo etu anomo bi sense edu ba bi anasa ye din sunso so nyina ekogu bambo empanimfo no abobo na basa ya na emwa Dr. Kojo Pumpuni Asante nsemo a wode etudwa eni
and only continue to preserve peace and promote peace if people are held accountable for violations of the law. But it appears that when it comes to the security sector, we have a hesitancy to hold people accountable. And I think in a command and control structure, if accountability doesn't exist, that presents a huge problem for how you impose discipline. The state officers, security officers who conducted themselves during the election, where the courts have found that they illegally, basically caused fatalities and injuries, if there's no accountability held, it means we are sending a message that the security sector is above the law. You cannot build any society that way. And I think that this is one of the biggest challenges going forward, because governments, from all governments that we've known, always have this hesitancy to ensure that accountability applies to all. It is in that context that, for me, the security issue, there are still some problems that we have to address so that we don't have the problems we had in 2020. First of all, it's really for me the participation of the army. We've had us to raise issues as to exactly what is the role that the army is going to play. And we've gotten different answers, some not with any sense of how they are going to operate. We know they are not going to be in polling stations, but we know in the past they have been in collation centers. Are they going to be there again? And what is going to be their role? We understand from the Election Security Task Force that they are sort of the 4 tiers, last resort. Fine.
Observant way a Dr. Kojo Pumpuni Asante Oko a Center for Democratic Development Ghana ono and a penimpa or share a policy engagement and then you could see Bruneka say a partnership so a day Emma Atana Yenom. Yegusua at the more bambo hunsem ya and ne sa pussy for and kwan a bebo bang say omuniano cannibal bawunum so ye crime more and conquer bawunum no soja for crown so me could be so moon could be. And I'm so Ura Suleiman Abraham so a penny for the Media Foundation for West Africa no one so Edina no Aquaco Tumubi say enka beya adianinkie hwenim you know say asoja for no beko normal kwakọ bo mu nuanoma police for ene immigration ne fire service ne prisons for no ye nhwe na asoja for no kra ne se ye de omo kọ a wo madwuma omo kọ akọ ne nka ye nsechire ne yamanye prefa na amansa nyina ni ntuom se soja ni no a ye de ne ba na dwuma wo ba be ye nie sense ye be kọ akọ ne prekese ne na se nipa be mienu miensa bi age obo omo bo a je se omamu ye nim se ne omo dwuma ye esiti ente basa no a na ye nhye de huna soja for no de onomo e ba be ye o bambo ho nsensem ewo abatuo da no Ura Suleiman Abraham Ansemni.
There are a number of things that are happening across many parts of this country that are either politically orchestrated or have political implications. And by political, I mean even electoral implications. I think sometimes talking about whether the elections will be peaceful or not, we tend to perhaps look more at what will happen in Accra, what will happen in Kumasi, and some of the other big areas. And then we will say, the situation is terrible. In 2020, we are talking about the situation in Techiman, where 8 people lost their lives, others injured, in Accra, Pius, and a few others who also got injured. But we are in a situation where in one particular territory of this country, every day people are being killed, and we are 7 days into elections. And it appears that when we are doing our analysis and calculations about whether the elections will be more peaceful or not, we tend to forget that. And certainly we all know that the developments in Boko, for example, has electoral implications. I mean, things are happening partly also because of the elections coming up, and the politicians are behind it. The EC at some point not too long ago had to come out to say that whatever the case may be, they will make sure that elections are held in Boko. In the event elections are not held because the gun battles escalate and so on, are we going to conclude that the elections was more peaceful? I doubt. And apart from Boko, there are other areas where, depending on who wins, the conflict may die down or escalate, and we know it. And therefore, electorates in those communities are also, neck to neck in terms of making sure that their candidates or their favorite politicians win. And so I tend to perhaps agree with the assessment that a lot
Zafont way a Ura Suleiman Abraham on a penny for the Media Foundation for West Africa no ningina a bambo honsum sisi akwa mama nchesa soja for bekobi say what's your momo kwine e momo kujina polling station and say bia coalition center ono mono a ye keka ne mesi ni ne wasa so ye ma soja for ekro no eno so na no tumi bi na biem so no ene ma bia e hye sumase e hye adaka mboko nsensem ya ase yentie ni yakan ningina office emwaye a awose ne chire ye hwe na yeso anom yemfamo emfri bambo asem ewo afia batu no na afi yemfamo enkwa amanyuko ahodo num yedemo kwa ndisi amanyuko atena ye na eyemanimu samdeda se mampeni da John Dramani Mahama Gonja de Sekonkra wotigya tanguma so pro soro wede wono ene di ndisi amanyuko animu aprema mpeni adwama wonum afi na se yedemo kase wode aproba hyehye so wasantema se ya yedemo kase adwira sekeduma se abaton pese so na wakwakopie na Lorry Park ye wadwira ena one NDC ma ene chiriye makokosia ya obobo nsem so ede chiri wunum obuso omsa nyembia mfie nwotwene a mampeni na nado danko akufode na bedi e chiri Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bamia bedi wo mayusu obusa se ede nsachiraye de de papa beina MPP aban ayede ama wunum e wadwira ene ne sechiduma se empesua so
7 December ye betwaba na batwa ye betuno abattoir keke. They say abattoir ya yebetui. Eya dia ewose ye gbe wiye asade abattoir ba. Ne di kai efie watchini NDC ebe na aban na ne wose ebusa ya wona say efie watchi a MPP ba ye no ya ye wo address duma say ha ya sitra no ekoyi ana say ekoyi ọmọ ìtura ọmọ sọ ọmọ ntẹ ẹtì mi bí sẹ bíọ ẹdúrásẹ ju ìdúmọ sí pọ ẹtì wọtí a MPP bẹẹ di àbáyé no àṣetìlẹ ẹkọ yìí ànásẹ ẹkọ yìí ẹkọ yìí fúra yóò bàtẹ ẹntì 7 December. Abattoir a yebetui e was say ye hwe ya setra na ye to abapa e was say ye hwe ya setra na ye to abapa ezu senya minya bawa kaya no wo adie bia e ye fe e ye japade e ma ijura fo nyina NDC apreso e na bai ezu na yẹn nanu MPP de ni ọmọ yẹn ni sẹ ọmọ nfa ebutu ọmọ nfa hwee ni ọmọ yẹn ni sẹ ọmọ de sika de ẹhyẹ.
Abzanfo nti weye mampani dada John Dramani Mahama na yete ne nkana na omana nso a wose adwrade yeka akwako yekua nko a na obasoso no owo ne papa de makuafo a ewo mayimu a akuafo wa adwra se tweduma se abatom pesua so omsoso omo bedi mu emfaso pa
Taxes ba 15 na besia enu mi findie nyina enti wa wo ye keni e wo dra ha nyina wo ba kwa register emenu so say ye be do wo ba se tractor no be do ma wa ye be kwa drama wo ni fertilizer wo ba kwa farmer service center ho ni ato fertilizer na ma wo bibia wo ye bia e ho e na wo ba kwa project no we bro ye na wo cha we bro wo kotona na ekakakra e da service center ho no akochia ni aka no eye ho dia wo de be ni ho be abraye wa bai yenge embra say what are your friends size 5 yan fan susu enyoma biu enso
Abzanfo nti weye mampani dada John Dramani Mahama ne yete ne nke na propo wa santimantamu a ene ode hyehye so ekọ adwura se cheduma se abatom pesua so ena wo chechinsemu ede akire amansan no de owo de makuafo de owo de maganaman ena na oboboso no MP a owo adwura ono aboba wasoso ede kakra eso mampani dada John Dramani Mahama de yeso
Bibi wa ha etimi ma enipa asitra eye biaro NDC and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama enipa ayi my national sir and me as MP me na wa me commission projects that me challenge the administration the administration say MP na commission projects I didn't say about what so oye MP me share of the common fund 5% that's what my mind was saying e cha assembly no e dey 10 times
Abzanfo nti weye honorable bawa woye NDC mrasbeje ni owo mrasbeje fiema desia ewo adwura se cheduma se abatom pesua so weye mra mampani dada John Dramani Mahama ede na probo ekopie pesua no so ene dai ewo asantemamu na ode sansami etudwa yakọ NDC de yemfomo enko MPP so amanyuku ni moy na chairman James Odro dodo na sarmrane se chairman Rider 1 ewo afano South East abatom pesua so ewo asantema say no wasre MPP achitafo nyina osonoma no se aka na watwi o ka won sako no se nanum nsia aka nefua no nso na Ghana for ye papa ho akwakoto aba wo se ba bia aduro no kwasi broni ka sembe se last days are dangerous so we nye rally sam ya yende just room to room, house to house, door to door. Hey, what ya know than a bedroom granua, Bora honum, Nekoka, or Sonon Sampano, Efa Echen Sebeye, na, and then I watch your bano, Ghana Madishi in your money, and for a hinter, MPP Amanyukono, and a 1 year or more age now, my party 1% hold also. Chairman James Odra, Donna Salman said, right, that one in somewhere, what they etu Jamra, na MPP Amanyuku, a bontoa, a war actually 1 more, a war for no southeast about Persia. Mantama seni. I was on phone to a year rider 1 year 10 and can we am ranked about workua a while for no southeast about Persiano so MPP Amanyukuni dim and yet woman cano Cosmos Danso so a organizer Emma MPP Amanyukunu wahum ranked about worku no Mati and wa no so no EDB a Soninia rider 1 year so say Observe for Ora Samuel or say so any domo cano EDB AP so say
China, Russia,
Observe young for more and quapum didn't way na entity Sompa from the Sompa television some for about yet and say Ghana Health Service and penning for Ashasia and Edria ya Mano e Caboso Basa Bay for Yiri Ghana Health Service and penning for your pum didn't want some so Ashasia so and Quada and Num. What am I Shasia dear friend since Mantemo a year a Utu Senya is the bottom Persuaso Ningina said Bayo not Shepete Yadianoa etisi Kremua o konfinsi Mantemo titru Kasua Utu Senya and then important money Pama Komako you know about 21 efa mushiri womun kono yetimi asoso noa enko tretre na enko je ensamo Dr. Patrick Kuma Boajia oye pene kwanchefo eda eyapom de ho nsensamo no e Ghana mema sei na edisansemito eye Ghana man animu se eneme mini due ya na wonoma ahyase a womo esoso nkwada enum titiru ntinsi mantemu awutu senya East Abaton Persuaso ene emiam yahudo pi wonam sa kwan we soso esre abatan no se we eye duro hwani ankofa bibia ene huhuma asemu a mema beisam hwani anfa bia mpinche we ho ena mekwa asori asomasi me de megidie kire me obenten ene megidie ye me se ne hwan no we de hwani anfa mpinche ho ye mu no aganafo no ye efin de ye bi pa efin no na akofa sa ahyepete yade cholera no ede aba enti nkwada na omo soso omo nim no abata ne nhye no nso ye duru fi a o meka sa na mekwa asori asomasi ena megidie kire me se enti no abaisam ne de ba be wuram ede wonhum nsam ba wanhwe ya nkwada no omo entimi ensoso omo nim se ne se na efata no akire wode adesrede atato sa honidie ho nsam soso yama ya honidie ho nsam enhia yen yeni yehuni pa na ye fin dodo opradem betugu eye o gatamu a na onye hwe o gata na soso no prapram na yi fin ede efiri mu na yade ba ye onim de wo ye fin eda wonim de odi ne hu ne ye nyina se yanhwe na yansoso mu a yade no ebetimi agensam wei Ghana Health Service mpanimfo womo ensam a enumrei womo ede amane yen ye samo bose yedi asem yechi cholera ahun sensem yechi de bifra to bia no yemfa enkamemo afei yede mo ekwap eye enwomasuam na kofi eye frimpon tosum yenu eye otumfo brimpon asante eye dawu ye wo sechere south abaton pesu aso asante mantama sei wono ene yo hene popropa wo honum na ose oso da ye bi mrebi se eja kana ho adi betimi a suku a wone mpotam wonu nyina akade ebeboa ama de kire ne adesua tumpone no nenka ebu omo so ewo ne kronum ene ne mpotam wonu nyina ene sa daye no ya bamu abra wode computer yi ena sese ye de bibia wode bi akwakodum suku so a ewo ne mpotam honomo na kofi frimpon tosum bi no otumfo brimpon de ensem sei etonsem twefo anim
you might be a DC Maniso. Zam. Because I'm my phantom. Zam. If you shabba a doing a tram. Zam. And I'm at the computer about to be a bug. Zam. I've got the computer line by. Zam. I've got a young from Zam. Since you shabba busy. Zam. 2010. Zam. Patriarchal done. Zam. Yes, sir. Computer is not ever go with the Zam. Roman, if you see my home computer, I want to Zam. My home in water. Zam. To plan me a panel. Zam. This is my son, two and what you say. Oh, one. No, I'm not on me. Zam. I will say to me a computers. Zam. To be the mind. Zam. Not the room for that. Zam. Any moon and but in full secure. Zam. Won't let me shine. Zam. And you I'm afraid I'm a assassin of one year. Zam. Madama, in terms of 1 year, a computer laboratory. The women, many men paying for the number of 1 year. Zam. Zam. As our computer done a zero. Zam. But the 2 men are 7 year penny. Nana, 3 drugs in the brain of the time. Nana, no computer. Zam. In tea and a message. Mafia. And dinner. You read anymore.
Observe to way a nana kofi frimpon toso mieno asante dew ye war such a south mensinimo asante mantama say wono ene yo hine popropa o honomo na obie computer lab yi ene computers bebrebe ya no e de amane nananom ne adehye no this year won potem wono ma me Catherine so no ekokota akire modern sem say etoa so
na school munya eda ye siri bombu suwe woye ya menem empty ya ba be na be commission eda ya ba ya ebe hunu ba ku ye suwe no ya ka say na ya da se eno de ebe so wasere sada no ya de ama contract no me ba ye prada me bisa na mo be na o mo ti adwuma no anu agi be edu aboboso oba on kase bia o bi dada oji we sika na odi yewe oji we sika na odi yewe dan so asante yesi achia emu ede ne obeba be ye da no ye ha de enim se MPPM isa wa wuja akro na wuja akro kra de obeba no obeto aso enti eda no de ye de ne a ebesi se de kai no me na me fie nwotwe aso se ne constitution ne kire no
Abusua ma me Catherine eye Recklin eye Abankrati Penny War such a South Mensini emu yejina we so na nwumre ensema ye babo no de babesum no ye de mo asiane asore amadwumedi aka atwa so ye sore de ye de nyomo gemo tata kakrebo no nso a ra Lord enunsa lansa eye MC otafo pankro no abato mpesua so asantemantema se betena se na NPP mre atena se ne dom o ma DMPP wonkomo enwuma MPP amanyuku mampeni na nado danko akufade na bedi echire Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bamia aye wo mo abie so akira mansan na de esi wo mani sososo no wono ma aboboso achechirima ama mansan atiase se beye na ene na wotwe aba no amanfo betu no bum de ama MPP amanyuku no nti ya mo ofidie ne na ha no nso pepepe Sompa FM ene Sompa TV so edikosi eye nonkono enwumre Kusafone David Chane Buzinum Ranchene Mabawa Ufiase ne time chira baby a wo bia no yetimi ba ye ba besom wo mede ede nana ya bo amale bia boga nwumre so no edamase ema monitia enyado
Can you see na ya rehosi Bible say